Good morning, students. Hope you are fine at home. Welcome back to your chemistry class. Today we will study about the pure substances. Matter which is divided into pure substances and mixtures. Mixtures we have done before. Homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture. In homogeneous mixture you studied about the solutions, and in heterogeneous mixture you studied about the colloids and suspensions. So today we will study about the pure substances, and in pure substances we will study about elements and compounds. First of all, see the facts about the elements. The number of elements known at present is 118. Means 118 elements are present in nature, and 94 elements are naturally occurring and rest are man-made. So which elements? The number of naturally occurring element is 94. Rest is made by man. Majority of elements are solid and 11 elements are in gaseous state at room temperature. So please remember this. All elements are not solid, all are not gas, all are not liquid. Some elements are solid, some are gas, and some are liquid at room temperature, but the number which is the majority of elements, which that is solid, only 11 elements are there in the gaseous state at the room temperature, and 2 elements are liquid. These are the mercury and bromine. Among them also mercury is the metal and bromine is the non-metal. And the elements like gallium, cesium, they become liquid at a room temperature, at a temperature slightly above the room temperature. Right, as the temperature goes slightly higher, the room temperature, they changes to liquid. So Antoine Lavoisier, who is a French chemist, he defined an element as a basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reaction. You know that you have studied that elements are made up of the very small particles, cannot be broken down into the simpler substances. Right? So elements are classified into 3 parts: metals, non-metals and metalloids. And metals are present in the periodic table in the left hand side, non-metals on the right hand side, whereas in between the metals and non-metals in zigzag form the metalloids are present. So have a look on the properties of metals. Metals are lustrous, right? Lustrous means they have shine. If you see the many metals like gold, silver, copper, these all have their own shine. Platinum, right? Metals are malleable, they are ductile. You know that in previous class also you have done about the malleable and ductile. Malleable is the property in which if a metal is beaten with the hammer, it can be drawn into a sheet. And ductile is a property in which the metal can be drawn into the wire. You know that if you see the malleable property of metal, the aluminum files are made up of metal. Aluminum is a metal. And aluminum files are made because it has the nature of a property of malleability. In the same way, if you see the silver foil, it is also because of the malleable nature, silver can be changed into a sheet. Ductile property means metal can be drawn into the wire. You know that copper wire, right? Metals conduct heat and electricity. You know that copper wires are there, and the utensils are made up of metal. They can easily conduct heat as well as electricity. Sonorous. Sonorous is the property in which the metals made a sound. Right? You know that you have seen the bell in the school. Whenever the bell rings, so it is hammered at the time, and because of that a sound comes. Because metal have the property that is called sonorous, means if they are beaten they produce sound. Mostly metals are silver grey, only few are having the color that is golden yellow. Few examples of metals are like copper, aluminium, zinc, silver and gold, etc. If you see the non-metals, though metals have simply the silver grey color, very few have the golden yellow color, as in case of copper and gold you can say. But if you see the non-metals, they show the variety of colors, right? So in this way, they have the contrast characteristic than the metals. If you see the metals, they conduct heat and electricity, but non-metals, they are the poor conductor of heat and electricity. They do not conduct heat and electricity, only except graphite, which can conduct the electricity, right? So non-lustrous, they do not have any shine, whereas metals are lustrous, they have shine, only except sodium, which doesn't have the shine. But in case of non-metals, these are non-lustrous, right? Then they are not sonorous, they are not ductile, they are not malleable also. And one metal, that is mercury, which is liquid at room temperature. In the same way, one metal, that is bromine, one non-metal, that is bromine, is liquid at room temperature. Mostly the non-metals are gases like oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen and hydrogen. But some carbon, graphite, these all are solid. Metalloids, as I told you that in between the metals and non-metals in the periodic table, the space is given for metalloids. In the zigzag form, they are arranged in the periodic table. And metalloids show the properties of metals and non-metals both, like boron, silicon, germanium, etc. These are metalloids. Now see compound. What is a compound? A compound is a substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion. Suppose it is silver nitrate. Silver nitrate means it is made up of silver and nitrate, right? And this silver and nitrate is combined in a fixed proportion, means one atom you can see it is of silver, and in the same way one molecule of nitrate, right? Because this is silver is positively charged, nitrate is negatively charged, right? This is the radical. Water, H2O. In this also, hydrogen and oxygen always combine in a fixed ratio, that is 2:1, right? We are going to do one activity here. You will do this activity in the lab also. That this is the iron flint and this is sulfur powder. Suppose two groups are there. In one group it is said that only you mix sulfur powder with the iron flint. Simply the group one has to mix the sulfur powder with the iron flint, and other group has to make a compound of this, right? That is group 2. Group 2 will make a compound. You can see the iron flint is black in color, whereas the sulfur powder is yellow in color. So see what is the activity. In this activity, first of all, the group 1, what group 1 is going to do? They are just making a mixture. They have added in the china dish sulfur powder and iron flint, and it is mixed up, right? Then when they are just trying to see the magnetism property, you can see that the magnet can attract easily the iron flint because it is a simple mixture, and you know that in mixture the constituent substances show their own characteristics. So iron has the characteristic to attract towards magnet, so it is showing that property, right? Then what is there? This iron flint and sulfur powder, which mixture is made by group 1. Carbon disulfide is added in this. When carbon disulfide is added in this, sulfur mix up with carbon disulfide, changing the color of carbon disulfide to yellow. So in this test tube, the color yellow appears when it is in this solution, in this mixture, the carbon disulfide is added. Where is the next group? Group 2, who is making the compound from this mixture. How the group is making the compound? By the heating the mixture. When this iron filling and sulfur powder mixture is heated in this china dish with the help of this burner, it will change into the compound. After some time, you will find that it has been changed into the compound. You cannot find the sulfur powder or iron filling separately here. It is made a compound here, right? And when, with the help of magnet from this compound, if we want to separate the iron, it is not possible. You can see here no iron particle is attracting towards the magnet, whereas here the iron particles, iron fillings are attracted towards the magnet. Why? Because here the constituent particles are showing their properties, but here the constituent substances do not show the property because they have become a new substance now. When it is a compound, it is a new substance now, right? And in this compound, when carbon disulfide is added, then this solution doesn't change the color, means it remains unchanged or colorless, you can say. Though sulfur is here also, but here the sulfur get mixed with the solution and changes the color to yellow, whereas here the sulfur is mixed with iron and it has made now a compound, that is the iron sulfide. And this iron sulfide is a polar, whereas this CH2 is non-polar. So it does not get mixed with this. That is why the color of solution will not change to yellow. So see some observation. What happens when carbon disulfide is added to the mixture containing iron fillings and sulfur powder, leads to the formation of a clear yellow color solution, as I told that in this, because sulfur is mixed in the mixture only. It has not lost the properties. So that is why this sulfur will mix up with the carbon disulfide and changes the color to yellow. When carbon disulfide, this is CH2 is carbon disulfide, is added to the compound iron sulfide, because you know that group 2 has made the iron sulfide by that is a compound. There will be no reaction. Then there will be no reaction. So there will be no reaction, and iron sulfide is ionic compound. Why there is no reaction? Because iron sulfide is ionic compound while carbon disulfide is non-polar molecule. It is the covalent compound. So there will be no reaction, and then the iron sulfide is not, because iron sulfide is not soluble in carbon disulfide, and hence it remains colorless. The solution will not change to color yellow. It will remain colorless. One more thing is there. If you will add HCl in the first group is adding the HCl in the solution, and group 2 is adding the HCl, that is the hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid, sorry, you can say. So if hydrogen and hydrochloric acid is added in group 1, is adding in the mixture, as well as in group 2 is also adding in the compound this hydrochloric acid, then what will happen? In first case, the hydrogen gas will release. Why hydrogen gas will release here? Because it reacts with iron. Iron is showing its own properties in the mixture. And you know that when metal reacts with acid, it releases hydrogen gas, which is a colorless, which is odorless, and which is combustible gas. Whereas group 2 has made the compound hydrogen sulfide. That is why when hydrochloric acid is added in that, then hydrogen sulfide gas will be released, that is colorless gas, and it smells like the rotten eggs. Now see the mixtures and compounds. I hope you have it is clear to you what is the difference in mixture and compound. Now just have a look on this. By the activity you have done it. Now see, mixture or compound just mix together. You know that if sulfur and iron is mixed, doesn't matter how much sulfur and how many iron fillings are taken, but when elements react to form a new compound, then when the compound iron sulfide is made, that is FeS, means one molecule of iron and one molecule of sulfur make compound iron sulfide, right? Like water, if you say if hydrogen and oxygen is mixed without any ratio, it will be a mixture, but when it is mixed with the ratio like 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen, it will make water. So this is how the mixtures and compounds are made. Mixture, you can mix any 2-3 things without any stress of their composition, but in compounds, the compounds are made only by chemically, and that too in a when the substances are mixed in a fixed proportion. You know that in the previous activity, when the compound is made, it was heated. Though in mixture there was no heat required, right? A mixture has a variable composition. There is not a fixed composition, but a compound has of each new substance is always fixed. So whichever composition is there, that is fixed. Mixture shows the properties of the constituent substances. As you came from the activity, you got it, that mixture shows the properties of the constituent substances, whereas compounds has totally different properties. In mixtures, the constituents can be separated fairly easily by physical method, right? Whereas in compound, they can be separated only by the chemical or electrochemical method. You know that in case of a mixture, if you see, you can do any type of the separation techniques like distillation, like separating phenol, evaporation. There are so many processes by which physically the things can be separated. Whereas in case of compound, you know that from water, if hydrogen and oxygen has to be separated, then electrolysis process has to be done. So there are the differences between the mixture and compound, and please remember these all, learn these all well, and whatever questions I'll give, please do it. Thank you.